Hey guys, gonna do another video about original sin or the pretext that people have for original sin. I just like to give my thoughts on why I think original sin is not the case. Um, but first, I just kind of wanted to follow up to the vid I did yesterday. It's kind of funny. I did the vid on Psalm 51:5, and I just want to kind of add my wife. I was talking to her about it the other day, and I led off with I just walked up to her. Let me give you some background on my wife first, I guess. My wife really doesn't know a whole lot about the Bible. She's a firm believer in God. She doesn't believe God exists 100%. She believes in the Spirit. She's a person, she feels, I don't get into the theology of anything. She just more says, I listen to what my spirit tells me to do from one moment to the next, and she's led by that. And I think that's perfectly fine. So she doesn't really get into the exegeting of text or anything like that. Um, so my point is, she doesn't know anything about Psalm 51:5. And so I just went up to her and I said, okay, listen to this passage. And I read it. I said, behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. And I looked at her and I said, so what do you think that means? I didn't give her any surrounding text. I didn't give her any additional information. I just gave her one passage. She has not, been told about original sin. So she's just looking at it. She said, I don't know. I don't know what it means. And I said, well, just take a guess. What do you think it means? And she said, well, it sounds like he was maybe conceived out of wedlock. And I found that funny because she has a blank canvas, so to speak. There's nobody telling her how to look at a passage. And so I was able to just get a sample of that and just to see what she would come up with. And she did not come away with, well, it means that man is born a sinner. It means that man has a sinful nature. It means that man is just going to sin automatically because of what happened in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. She did not take that away from that verse whatsoever. So I find it interesting. Excuse me here a moment. I find it interesting that she did not come away with that. She was not told how to look at that. And I bet you if I would have told her, well, here's what original sin is, and I pitched it to her as if I believe in it. Original sin is the fact that man is corrupt just because Adam and Eve. I gave her the whole spiel. And then I said, you know what, let me show you a passage that shows you that. And then I read that to her. Well, now I am telling her what the verse means. And see, that's kind of what I'm saying. That's how we get into this whole thing of believing something, because we are told a lot of times how to read something, or we're already looking for something in a passage, and so we think we see it when it's really not there. And I think that would be a prime example of that. She did not come away with that. And so when I told her how other people saw that, she just kind of looked at me funny and she said, but it didn't say anything about that. She said all it said was, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So she said, I don't get how original sin comes out of that. And I would have to agree with her on that. I think the same thing. But moving on to the point of this, and I try to be as brief as I can. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Genesis 6, okay? Genesis 6, the place where original sin is supposedly taught. I'll go ahead and start off with verse 5. Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was evil continually. And the Lord and Yahweh regretted that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him to his heart. Then it goes on to say, so he pretty much decided to wipe out man from the face of the earth. But then it goes on after that, it says, in verse 9, it says, Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God. So how did Noah circumvent this sinful nature? If verse 5, and when God says he looked down and saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually, if that phrase, if that thing is about original sin, because original sin is making the thoughts of their hearts continually evil, how did it pass over Noah? That'd just be the first question. Is that consistent throughout Genesis 6 and throughout the Bible, for as a matter of fact? Is that a consistent message? Well, no, because obviously it says Noah was blameless. So maybe the overall prevailing thing here is, yes, man has become evil upon earth, but this is not teaching original sin. It is teaching that at that time, God realized that overall the thoughts of man was evil continually. And I would also have to ask, if original sin is true and God is aware, he would have to be aware that man has a sinful nature now due to what Adam did in the garden. If that's true, why is it saying here that he looked down and saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth? Did he just figure out in Genesis 6 that did it just occur to him at that point? Again, that really is not a consistent message. It's not properly keeping it within the context of the passage. All right. So, and now you read on to verse 11. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. So it's saying flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. All right. Now, yeah, it says all flesh, but you automatically know that all is not a literal all, or else Noah would be a part of the all category. But he's not. It says that he was blameless. All right. God saw something good about Noah, apparently. And I'm not going to argue with him. Okay. If he thought something was good about Noah, then something was good about Noah. So Noah automatically is an exception. So you can forget about the all flesh, meaning every man has a sinful nature. You no longer have that. So my point in this is, God did not realize at this point that all men had a sinful nature. He didn't. What happened was, basically at this point, due to the circumstances that led up to this, man had chosen to corrupt their way, as the text says. So again, is this, my question is always, is it teaching original sin? And I can't stress that enough. Is this teaching you that original sin is what happened in the garden because of what Adam did, okay? And that corrupted man, and everybody is going to sin no matter what because they have a sinful nature. Is this teaching that? Is anything that I just said in this text? And I think if you're being honest, you would have to see that it's not. Again, it's saying what it's simply saying. So don't read that into the text would be something that I would advise. That's something that I would say. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahweh. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God. That blows out the whole thing right there. And so again, this is not, I would conclude, to stop from rambling, this is not teaching original sin. This is teaching that man had become corrupted. God noticed it, decided to wipe it out. He chose a man that was actually righteous, and he worked through Noah to eradicate or wipe the face of the earth with the violence of man. That's what that's teaching. Nothing more, nothing less. So I'll conclude with that. Thanks to everybody for watching. I know some people might not agree, and that's fine. I'm just giving my take on it, and I appreciate anybody that is willing to watch and maybe get something out of it. Peace to everybody. God bless.